All right, folks. Hey, this is Waylon. I am in Halifax, Nova Scotia. This is a beautiful area of the city where there's a lot of old buildings and a lot of brand new buildings. There's an old historic railroad right there. Mom, what did we just go see?
We just went to go see Gina Stick's exhibit of fantastic porcelain. The idea is that this very elegant pottery can be used in everyday life to uplift people's lives. So it's meant to be used, not really to be in a museum, although it's of museum quality.
So that's kind of a notion of the Dharma approach or Buddhist approach to art, right? Is that it can be beautiful, it can be amazing, but it should be used. It shouldn't just sit around in a museum.
That's right. This Dharma art is a great way for people to actually access the Dharma.
Can you see who just joined?
Who joined?
Jen Schwartz.
Oh, hi, Jen.
Yeah.
So, Dharma art, I remember a long time ago in Seattle, there was beautiful Kuan Yin, a Bodhisattva.
Kuan Yin is that Asian sort of very famous goddess or god sometimes with your arm is sort of, her arm is draped over her knee.
It's called the resting posture.
Yeah.
And it magnetized me. Before I knew very much about the Dharma, I just wanted to keep going back to this museum. So I would go on almost every weekend to see this beautiful carved wooden statue. And in the same way, beautiful objects that are done in a very inspirational way can really magnetize people. And so Dharma art, the term was coined by Trungpa Rinpoche, was a way to magnetize people into beauty and a more uplifted way of life, and
so
bring them into
art,
the Dharma.
Right. So is art not as performance or as
decoration?
Some sort of, yeah, exactly, like something just above your couch.
Right.
But it's meant to...
It's meant to uplift and be used. Like one of the things that Trungpa Rinpoche did was have installations, and you'd actually see, you know, you'd enter a room with a tatami mat and an ink stand and an ink pot that was just exquisitely beautiful, but those objects were put in a situation which was inviting you to use them. And you could actually use the brush and dip it in the ink and put it on the white paper and do a calligraphy. So he appreciated that things that were ancient were being preserved in museums, but he would much more rather have had something like that Bodhisattva that I first talked about be in a living situation where not just in a museum,
right,
in a hallway.
Right. Yeah, that always stuck with me, that it's wonderful to have beautiful and historical things preserved in museums, but ideally they would continue to be used. I think museums are wonderful because they keep them public instead of just being in some rich person's house. But
that's right.
You know, art is meant to be used and interacted with. It's a live thing, like this little sculpture that people are playing with. There we go. So what else about Dharma art? Because I think people, so there's this wonderful book about Dharma art. I always remember it just fundamentally as sort of the notion of art, not as performance, not as some sort of showing off or manifestation, but as something that was in itself a process of meditation, kind of,
it can convey,
of waking up.
It can convey certain dharmic principles. So you have something like the 8-spoke wheel, which is on one of the designs on a little bowl, and it represents turning the wheel of Dharma, in this case the Eightfold Path of right livelihood, right speech, right. So these things...
No, but talk about those things. So this is the wheel that you'll see like on the top of Lhasa in Tibet.
That's
the
right.
Golden wheel with the 2 deer on either side.
Right.
People have seen that wheel. So it has 8 spokes, and right livelihood, which is a subject I literally just did a video about like 2 days ago, is the notion that your work can be good for the world, good for you, make money, pay your bills, be of benefit, be joyful, be something you love, whether it's plumbing or whatever, being a politician, it doesn't matter.
That's right. That's right.
So it's wonderful, wonderful things, and the art encapsulates all those
symbols.
Right livelihood, and what were the other ones?
Right livelihood, right speech, right thought, right effort, because to do these things does take exertion.
We're testing my mom right now.
But it doesn't mean exertion in the sense of pushing. It means natural energy. Right meditation, which that Trungpa Rinpoche said always was with eyes open, not closed, which a lot of people aren't aware of.
Well, there are closed eyes meditations, but you're right. Yeah, a lot of people think meditation is shutting yourself off in some way.
That's right.
But really, it's meant to bring your mindfulness into life.
The Buddha had his eyes open when enlightenment dawned, and otherwise he wouldn't have seen the sunrise, and he wouldn't have recognized the moment.
So it's like basically you should never wear sunglasses. Sort of the same kind of principle. You just want. I'm teasing.
Yeah.
Teasing mom.
Yeah. Anyway, so all these symbols of Vajra, which is like a thunderbolt, conveys indestructibility. So what is indestructible? Space is indestructible because there's nothing to destroy. So it also.
So it's not indestructibility as aggression; it's indestructibility as openness.
That's exactly right. And the lotus, Padma, is symbolic also of openness, and also as a pure seat for meditation. You also often see figures like the Buddha sitting on a lotus throne. And the thing about the lotus is that it occurs on lakes, and its roots are in the mud.
Yeah.
It transforms the mud into beautiful, absolutely pure petals.
So the lotus is a profound symbol you see everywhere, but what you're saying, just for slow people like me, is that it's symbolic of human nature, and that we don't throw away our neuroses or our mud. We grow out of the mud, and we become wakeful and beautiful.
Right. Trungpa Rinpoche said that the manure of experience is valuable stuff.
Right, so don't reject the parts of yourself that you have a hard time with. Make friends with them, right? So we have this blog I refer to in almost every video called Maitri, and you can search Maitri on Elephant Journal and read about it, and it's probably the most important blog on all of Elephant.
So the lotus is a reminder also of non-duality. We might think that just the notions of purity versus impurity is a dualistic notion.
Right.
But you don't know about purity if you haven't seen impurity. So one is somewhat dependent on the other. So it kind of pops the whole view of constantly picking and choosing in terms of good and bad.
Or like, people don't think in terms of purity so much, but like perfection. People want to be perfect and beautiful and like a model.
Right.
But you know, models are nuts. So who wants to be a model?
Yeah. So,
you got a double-decker bus right there.
Chris.
Yeah.
So making friends with oneself, because extreme self-criticism is another way of just reifying your ego.
What does reifying mean?
So solidifying your ego. So you I'm a terrible person because blah blah blah, and that's just as problematic as not recognizing the neurosis, not recognizing the things that you need to gently erode and get rid of and let go.
So noticing it and being mean to yourself about it is just as bad as ignoring it.
That's right.
So that it's better to notice it, but then be gentle about it. And that's what you practice in meditation, which we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was profound. It's now time for lunch at the farmer's market, right?
It's a deal.
All right. This is my wonderful mommy, and we'll do some more videos all week from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm up here for 10 days. So everyone thank mommy. And we're off to lunch at the beautiful, huge farmer's market here. And it's year-round and every day.
Yeah.
And it's only one of like 3 farmers markets, right? There's
Friday.
one in the north end, the old one, which is my favorite, and this huge one, which is...
There's another one on Fridays now, right on the hospital grounds.
Oh, so there's 4.
Yeah, it's in our hood.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yolette. Bye.